Hey, Miss Davey.
Hey, Mr. Barber.
Answer one question for us. What is biology?
So I love bio. I love teaching bio. I think it's amazing when you look at all of God's creation. I'm in awe of just looking at the intricacies of a cell when you look under a microscope, to how the systems work together in a human body, or how traits are passed from a parent to an offspring. And then you look at the bigger picture with ecology and how everything is just interconnected. It's just incredible to me. So it's literally my favorite subject to teach. When we talk about biology means the study of life. So the first thing that we do in this unit is we talk about, well, what makes something a living thing as opposed to non-living? So I brought some props in. We've got our plant.
Nice.
We've got our little bug who will be released after this video.
And is alive. There he is. Rocking and rolling. He's crawling around. Oh, he's upside. He's falling over. Oh.
We've got a rock. We have a shell. And then I've got a flame or a little candle that I lit here. So when we take a look at these things, which of those would you say are living things?
I would say our poor bug is living, and our plant. And I think they're living because they consume things, and they consume those things so that they can grow and move about in the world.
Awesome. So right there, you've actually narrowed down to why those things are living. They have similar characteristics that they share, right? They both can grow. They both can reproduce. They both create or use energy. So when we look at living things in this unit, students are going to recognize what are those characteristics that make them alive. Now, this is very easy. We can all see the bug and the plant are living things. Some things become more difficult, though. So if we take a look at the fire, right? You said that these things are living because they grow. Well, we can certainly make that fire grow, right? We can add more oxygen to it.
Yeah.
It's taking in, it's consuming oxygen.
Right.
It can reproduce, right? I can light something else on fire. So it can move, it can reproduce, it can grow. Those are all characteristics that also made these things living. But there's something that that fire doesn't have that sets it apart. And that's that it's not made up of cells. So when we're talking about living things, we're essentially talking about things that are made up of cells. Now, this does lead into some problems, right? Like I can have a stick here, and we would say, well, it's not alive anymore, but it was a living thing. So it's still considered a living thing. Or you can have like a person who maybe can't have children. Does that mean that they're no longer a living thing? No, because as a species, we can reproduce. Right? But one of the biggest debates in science is the idea of a virus. Because a virus can do a lot of things that living things can do, but they're not made up of cells.
Right.
And scientists even today, and we all know a lot about viruses after this year, are still debating whether a virus is considered a living thing. One of the first things students do in this unit is I ask them to watch a video called The Secret Universe of the Cell. You would love it because it definitely is like Star Wars. But you
Best
watch
movies.
this video of a virus taking over, and it's like, there's no way that's not a living thing. Like you watch it move and reproduce. So like I said, it's one of those widely debated issues in science or topics. So from here, after we talk about why things are alive, we'll see how they fit into the grand scheme. Chapter 1 gives us kind of a broad idea of everything that we'll be learning over the year. Then we go into chemistry and biochemistry. It's really important for students to have a good foundation in chemistry because when we look at this living thing, I can take, a piece of this leaf and look under a magnifying glass. Or I can take skin a little part of it and put it on a slide and see the cells through a microscope. But ultimately, when you look into the cell, you would see organelles. Then you would say, okay, well, what are those organelles made up of? They're made of molecules. They're made of atoms. So it's really important for students to have a great understanding of chemistry in order to really explore the processes that they'll learn in bio.
Awesome.
So specifically, we've got biochemistry, the things that make up living things are you've got your proteins, your carbs, and you've probably heard about this, right? We
Yes.
talk about it with the food that we eat. Those are going to be the macromolecules, they're called, that are going to be really important for us to understand because we're going to see it throughout the course.
Talk to me about homeostasis.
Homeostasis is the one thing that I tell students you have to understand. If you forget everything else I've taught you, I want you to know homeostasis.
Hear that, students?
Yeah.
Homeostasis.
So usually when I teach this, I say to them, it'll be like a Friday afternoon, everybody's like falling asleep. Not in my class, of course. But And I say, well, where does everybody want to be right now? And everybody wants to be home. Well, your body wants to be home too. Homeostasis is maintaining a stable internal environment. So it wants to keep your body temperature stable, your glucose levels stable. We're going to talk about homeostasis as we talk about cells, as we talk about organisms, as we talk about ecosystems. Homeostasis is one of those words that's going to come up a lot. So that's something that's really important to understand.
Great.